kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death, lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm by the things we do, or the trouble that we get into. Other than a wild hair once in a while, we can't help it, it's just our style. Good old boys is all we'll ever be. I got an alimony payment that's 6 weeks overdue.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent, Commander, all in the house up for you this morning. Thank you for being here. Welcome to everybody on the Noble Radio Network.
I wondered if he was going to take a breath.
Nope, trying to get
it just all kept going, oh, look, higher.
Verbal diarrhea in the studio this morning.
You ever notice how women, when they see each other, and I mean this sincerely, the animal in us, when women see each other, by and large, and there may be some substitutes or some we might be just a little bit hot.
Somebody said something about the sound, but it looks like we're good.
We are good.
It's just the static still.
Okay.
Well, the static just gives it that old-time radio feel.
Yeah, it's like we're on AM.
Why is it? I mean this. I think it's nature. Like you walk up to a dog, and a dog is completely submissive. What does it do? Rolls over on its back. Rolls over on its back. Why? Because it's exposing to you that dog is at its most vulnerable. It's comfortable with you. It loves you. In my case, the doodles just want their bellies rubbed. But why is it that when women see each other, their voices go up 4 octaves?
I don't know.
True story.
Falsetto.
They do it, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
You notice it. Men don't do that. Men go, so. Women go, oh, my
Head
God.
nod, little head nod.
Never understood that.
Nope. So.
There's a handful of women that don't do
Daniel Wade White, Mark Kurtz, Greg Garcia on the podium this morning. Gives me an opportunity to welcome or wish our Marines a happy birthday. What, 250th?
250 years, United States Marines. Thank you. I don't know. I have an immense respect for the military. I have a different level of respect for the Marine Corps because the stereotype is, no offense to our Army friends, our Navy friends, all who served, you're above and beyond the call. Is there a problem? We're not on magic? That's magic. That ain't us.
Yeah, I can't fix that.
Push a button over there, Junior.
We look like we're streaming okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. There's 50,000 people listening right now. When you join the Marine Corps, to me, you're essentially saying, I'm willing to be the first one in. I'm willing to go do whatever it takes. Not that an Army person isn't. I guess the best way to look at it is, to me, a Marine is somewhat crazy. And good for them. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at A.T. Deerland Feed. They're the most sane people on the planet. I'm about to go get a herbicide with my friend Matt Boucher, former ag extension agent. And I'm going to put it down and kill those little crop circles that I get in my yard every year. It's like a fungus that goes dormant, and it doesn't hurt anything. Zed Stewart, who's listening on Facebook, says radio is down. Well, you found us another place. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, the No Bull Network, on KTMV in Corpus Christi.
I just let them know we're not on the
Trey,
radio there.
let us know if you can see us on the television down there on that newfangled television set. 42 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of only 64. This is the first day since last winter, since, March or whatever. This is the first day that it'll be in the 60s all day. So everybody is a production critic. Still static on YouTube. Did you go
That's
in
a
this morning
process.
to your thing and do the adjustments?
Yep.
I don't understand it. I will tell you this, and I mean this sincerely. These challenges are part of us not having enough money. We are not a school district. We are not the federal government.
We are not a city public safety building.
Yes, this is a challenge that we're going to have to address in the near future. Tammy McElroy Williams' husband is a former Marine, not crazy, but dedicated to our country. 4 years as a Marine, 30 years as a Victoria County Sheriff's Office deputy. Thank you, Tammy, and thank you, Deputy Williams. No doubt about it. It was mostly tongue-in-cheek. Don't don't be offended on behalf of a Marine who would look at me and go, yeah, I'm crazy.
They kind of got, they kind of get sent into everywhere nobody else wants to go.
Well, you've got the stereotypes, right? I mean, you've got the stereotypes that follow, and Ricky King says, the master is a little low. We'll give the master a piece of pizza. He'll be all right. Now Lilo's responding to us. Lilo says he got it. Welcome, Magic 95.9, our listeners at Magic. The key, the core base. Good morning, Clayton Hill.
Christy Thurman says 20 degrees in the Rockies.
High of 55 today. Feels so good.
We're huge in Colorado this morning.
That's right.
So where do we start this morning? Do we start with the government shutdown that the Dems blamed Donald Trump for, and then all of a sudden decide that last night it came, I'm trying to think what time, about 8 o'clock last night, I got wind that the Dems now had enough votes to end the shutdown, so then they decided that they will end the Democratic filibuster so that they can go forward with the votes. And I can't help but think that whatever you think of the guy, Senator John Fetterman must have had something to do with this.
Well, to get the inept Timmy Kaine, to get Dick Durbin, to get those folks to vote with the Republicans in any fashion, it should trouble you as a taxpayer that there are a group of people in Washington whose sole purpose is to vote against the administration. It's got nothing to do with right or wrong. It's got absolutely less to do what's best for the American people. Dick Durbin is solely there to be a thorn in the administration's side.
And he's retiring.
Thank God. Seriously, thank God.
I know. Guess who held up the vote?
Dumbass
Last
John
night.
Cornyn.
Apparently had flight delays and blah, 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 but I'm just curious as to...
That's going to cost him an election right there, because if I'm running against him, if I'm Wesley Hunt or if I'm
Ken Paxton?
I'm going to just promote
Yeah.
the most important vote of his career, and we can't get that bonehead to even be in Washington.
99 other senators were in chamber, and our John Cornyn was who knows where. Ted Cruz was there. The vote was 59-40 until Cornyn showed up at 11 o'clock last night,
What
Eastern
an embarrassment. The senator from Texas can't quite make it to the game. You know, if that doesn't just irk you, please remember that when it's time to vote for anybody but Cornyn. He is worthless.
Yeah. Durbin, Kaine, Sheehan, Cortez
Sheehan,
Masto, Jackie Rosen, Maggie Hassan, and John Fetterman all are the 7 Democrats who cast affirmative votes
Now,
for
let
the
me
package.
tell you why that happened. Listen to the names again. Durbin, Kaine, Shaheen. These people are bulletproof in the Senate. Their constituency won't oust them for making this vote. You see, they won't get Well, Durbin's retiring, but you get
But
the
he's
point.
in Illinois. The next one's going to come in
Right.
and be Dick Durbin the third.
Right. So look at the states: New Hampshire, Nevada. They're Democrats. Yeah, and Fetterman, everybody just thinks he's crazy.
Yeah. The 2 Democrats from New Hampshire voted on this one were the 7 again that they needed.
And 2 from Nevada.
2 from Nevada. That just shows you how much control the mob has
Right.
in Nevada. I mean, if there's any state that somewhat symbolizes free living,
Yeah,
it's Nevada.
it's Nevada.
Prostitution, gambling, all the sins, all the vices, they're all legal.
All the stuff we have to get online. Yeah, they've got it.
Or go to
walking down the
Nevada
street.
to do, yeah.
They're so inefficient, we get that online. But so what this does is it clears the way for them to, it doesn't open the government, but it clears a way for them to circumvent the Democrats' requirement of the extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. It allows you to move forward and then negotiate affordable health care. I don't know.
But
how
aren't they going to
do
be
that.
back here in like 2 weeks? Like, don't they have to get the next CR? This one was only good through like, unless this one get beyond. But I thought this one was like basically good until Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, here's the other thing here. The Democrat narrative and the lies that the mainstream media have been pushing with this is that, well, this shutdown is Trump's fault. This is Trump's shutdown. This is Trump's shutdown.
He just
Well,
keeps winning.
But you just exposed yourself. Oh, we now have the 7 Democrats we need to push this thing over the edge. So Trump was nowhere in that equation.
No.
Nowhere.
100%.
It's a lie.
Speaking of lies,
But they had to get it done, and here's why. John Cornyn with flight delays. You know what? This shutdown was starting to affect those 7 Democrats. They were having flight delays.
not Elizabeth
They were
Warren.
feeling it.
Elizabeth Warren was on a private
Well, she's
jet.
on a private jet. But of course, the media and the Democrats aren't going to complain about that. Oh, Donald Trump's having private dinners while America starves. Nobody cares what Elizabeth Warren's doing, right? Pocahontas can go wherever the hell she wants, and the
Absolutely.
Democrats won't say a word.
Absolutely. Speaking of lies, let's go to that deal about the BBC. It's worth noting.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always look at the BBC. I do. I'm not. It's not fair. England hasn't earned this for the last 40 years, literally 40 years. But I have a tendency to look at the BBC as being stodgy and more prone to being accurate. They'd rather be late to the report than early and incorrect. Fair? Is that kind of the way you've always viewed them?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, you know, whereas like ABC, NBC, CBS, they want a breaking news. You know, the BBC doesn't brag about that until their breaking news might be that Russia invaded Ukraine. They want to make certain that's what happened before they talk about it. Coming out now that the head of the BBC, at the very top, was accused of misleading viewers by editing Donald Trump's speech from January 6th, the J6 speech. Turns out now that there were parts of his speech that were manipulated by as much as 50 minutes, where he said, I'm about to join you, and we're going to march peacefully down to the Capitol and make our opinions known. And somewhere later in the speech, he said, this is what Americans fought for, and this and that. And they like tied it all together, and they used it in a documentary, and they knew that they spliced it. They knew they did it. And this guy said, what, grow up right here?
Well, here's a problem. You've got the CEO of BBC and the BBC Director General. It just sounds so
He's the director general.
socialist / communist in a title, doesn't it?
So that Davey says, I wanted to let you know that I've decided to leave the BBC after 20 years. And if you keep going, he says, This is entirely my decision. I remain very thankful to the chair of the board for their unswerving and unanimous support throughout my entire tenure.
I think this is Davey here. I think. Or
Yeah.
no, this is him
That's
here.
Davey.
Yeah.
Tim, including recent days. In these incredibly polarized times, the BBC is of unique value and speaks to the very best of us. It helps make the UK a special place, overwhelmingly kind, tolerant, and curious. In debt, Muslim, overtaken. Like all public organizations, the BBC is not perfect, and we must always be open, transparent, and accountable.
There's no accountability on his part through any of that.
Yeah. No, these people knowingly manipulated the words of Donald Trump in an effort to smear him.
BBC Chair Samir Shah says Davey's been an outstanding Director General for the past
you know what
5
that
years.
is? That's like today I, Jimbo Fisher, am resigning my position, and they're giving him a check for $76 million, and then the
Yeah.
athletic director goes, what a great guy, what a great leader of young men, God bless him. They fired this guy. He's leaving under
He's
pressure.
been an outstanding Director General. You know why? Because it doesn't matter what happens now. They push the narrative. They splice this thing up. He's been leading this thing for almost 6 years since,
Yeah, that's right.
or 5 years since. Ashmath again coming to
No,
the
I'm
forefront.
with you. Almost
right?
6 years.
He's been there for almost 5 years since January 6th with no repercussions.
That's right. But you
He's
see,
the fall guy because somebody told him to do this. I'm convinced.
here's what happens. Politics is absolutely top of mind. You can say whatever you want. And months later, when it's disproven, it doesn't matter because the election cycle has evolved. The damage has already been done. I mean, I can tell you, you live in that cycle. We had, I mean, not to belabor, you can bring that right back to the neighborhood. You were here with me. I was dumb enough to run for mayor of this dump, trying to help, trying to fix some streets. And our local newspaper that I've now outlasted, that's going broke, that's going defunct, in part because I never miss an opportunity to tell you that it's a worthless birdcage liner. They decided to run a front page article, top of the fold, Easter Sunday,
2 days before the election.
Carter's a racist. How are you going to dispel that? How are you going to go around? How are you going to do that? California says dump. Yeah, it's a dump. This place is a clown show. How are you going to dispel that in 2 days?
It's not the most visually appealing city I've ever lived in, but
It's
it
not.
is getting
It's
better.
not. We can make it better. Tammy Keeley dump. Look, I got the right and the extreme left both going, you offended me. It's a dump. Schools suck, Tammy. So at the end of the day, you get labeled a racist 2 days before the election. How are you going to fix that? You can't. The damage is done. Doesn't matter that you're being labeled such by people of unbelievable resumes. I choose not to mention today. But don't be so extreme. It's live radio. Is it a dump? Relative to what? Relative to San Antonio? Yeah. They've got just as many political problems. Linda Chris, thank you. I wish you were running now for mayor. I wouldn't be mayor now. I don't feel sorry for her because he sought and was elected mayor. I don't feel sorry for Dwayne Crocker. But I'll tell you that it takes a special person to live literally in a political power-wise, you live in a neutered position. You can have an opinion, you can't do anything. My nature does not allow me to do nothing.
You might break a vote in a deadlocked city council.
Right, that's
As
it.
mayor.
That's it. And by the way, I'll tell you, watch this. How many times in the last, pick one, 5 years, honestly, has there been an issue that the city council was going to vote on that you and I didn't know exactly how the vote was going to go before it was taken? Tell the truth.
None?
0. I can tell you what the vote's going to be on every issue that crosses that dais every single time before it happens. Am I connected? Beyond connected. Do I know these people? Well. Do I also know that there's voting alliances and people that are beholden to each other? You bet. Is it collusion? No. It's unspoken reality.
You have a guy that ran as a fiscal conservative to get elected, and Mark Lofgren, who's never voted against any spending measure at
Look,
all.
Mark Lofgren is a pud. He ran on all I want to do is fix the streets in Woodway.
And watch
He's
our spending.
the most tax and spend idiot you've ever seen. Unbelievable that you people just put up with this crap. I told you today could be a rant.
And the actual guy who was running to watch our spending, Zach Smith, against him, he's kind of like you. He's like, to heck with it. Because I know he got approached after, like, hey, you want to run again? He's like, no, heck with this.
No way. No way.
Scott Tomko says you get to use those giant scissors, and Andrew Alvarez says you get a cool
I
gavel.
got a cool gavel. I got a huge
We
gavel
got a
over
real-
there.
Yeah, we got a great gavel.
Got a better gavel.
Should we take our first break?
We should, just to recap, catch some breath. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends, this Thursday night, the 13th. Thursday, the 13th. This
Come on out,
Thursday.
have fun.
First ball pops at 7:30.
Get there a little early, enjoy dinner.
It's
Dessert.
great. Fantastic. Chesnick Furniture. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Chesnick, for all your furniture needs, for all your appliance needs, for your bedding needs, for your...
Accoutrement.
There you have it. John Paul Hall says Mark is great behind the scenes. Guy studies finance nonstop. Yeah, he's a bean counter. He was always a bean counter. But he likes to get more of my beans to count. The guy's a tax and spend idiot. But that's not, I don't care that he's a tax and spend idiot, JP. I care about the fact that he ran on exactly the opposite platform. Tell me you're going to tax me to death. He's never met a tax he didn't like. Go look at the record. USA Concrete Coatings, 578-HOME. Charlie Garcia helps you add value to your house so the CAD can screw you to the wall. Come on in and get a new concrete floor put down, but don't tell the CAD because they'll raise your taxes. Don't invite Mark Lofgren over. He'll see it and tell the CAD. 578-HOME for all your concrete needs. Sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it. Allen's Wrecker Service. 578-6300. Allen's your go-to tow-to. Anywhere you need to go, Allen's can help you get there. Reach out to Allen's Wrecker Service. Vera Cruz Restaurant, it's Monday. Magic
Back
Monday.
open.
Get back in. The food's great. Everything's fantastic.
No caldo on the menu today, though.
Yep. Christy Thurman, as if, says Brent is 100% correct about Victoria. I grew up there and have seen and witnessed quite a bit. Yep.
I mean, our previous city council had opportunities to bury power lines and decided to get even bigger power lines or power poles located throughout the city because it was going to cost too much.
Callie Frommy trying to put together a quorum says, Junior, do you think it's a dump? I don't. There you go. Mark Kurtz says you can always run for mayor of Seadrift. I'd like to welcome in our listeners in Seadrift. Okay, I retract. Victoria's not a dump, but Victoria's nowhere near what it could be. How about that?
That I will
How
go
about that? Victoria has a dump mentality. Victoria is Sinton. Scott Tucker says Brent must have had an espresso.
Just two Coke Zeros.
I got a little bit of rest. The fact that things don't outrage you folks is what enrages me. I look around.
Here, I'll give you an example.
And I'll rant about it. Welcome in, listeners in Corpus. You live in a dump, too.
When the folks that were in Canada recruiting nurses to come down here 30-some-odd years ago had a...
You grabbed a hold of a nurse to get down here, didn't you?
Yeah. No, talked her into it. But they had a magazine and pictures, and I'm not telling you a lie here. You know that mural that's downtown by the parking lot?
Right.
They had that thing like pre-Photoshop. Somebody was really good with fixing that stuff up back in the day. It looked like that's what downtown looked like. You couldn't tell it was a mural.
Right.
They had a picture of Saxett Lakes Park at the time. The water was blue. I've not found a blue water lake around here at all, ever.
No, it's always muddy.
They're all muddy. The Guadalupe, a picture of Guadalupe was a blue river.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and then you get here and you're like, wow, none of this is true.
None of this exists.
It was an interesting sales job, but I mean, think about it. I've heard the stories. People bring people here at night so they don't have to see the Highway 59 coming in and all that's there.
Right.
Or they go out of their way to come in on 10 and down 77.
What would you do if you were bringing the President of the United States here and Air Force One could easily land out there on our huge runway? Would you bring him in on 59? I mean, how would you go? Would you try to go around? I mean, why do we have a bunch of closed down oil field sites out on 59 instead of things that make our city more attractive? There's no
we've completely missed the opportunity.
No leadership to
Think
grow
about,
the community.
look up the road. Wharton is growing faster than Victoria. El Campo is growing faster than Victoria. Sugarland embraced the interstate corridor. Victoria ran from it. Oh, we've got an interstate right here. Instead, let's go develop up 77 where we don't have millions of vehicles a week traveling through it.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. None.
Our buddy, I love this. I love this because you people are so easily triggered, and I do love this on a Monday because it's just great to get everybody going. My buddy, real great dear friend and radio mentor, Ralph Salazar, the Hall of Famer over at Magic 95, took the time to send me a text and said, I'll tell you like we tell some of our illegals, if you don't like it, leave. But see, I was willing to make it better. That's the difference. I got in the ring, in the arena to make it better.
And I think that's what we're doing here because we point these things out.
Yeah, I ran for mayor to make it better. You can say what you want. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same as it is right now. And I'll tell you something, I go to HEB 4 or 5 times a week. And if everybody who comes up to me and tells me, hey, man, I voted for you for mayor, if everybody who tells me that now would have done that, I'd be in my 3rd term. And I'll tell you something else. It's a lot like when Nolan Ryan goes, I've met 195,000 people there at my 7th no-hitter. Because no, you haven't, because they weren't there. And no, you didn't, because you didn't vote for me.
Like
and I don't have sour grapes about not being mayor, because it's only after not being elected that I realized, number one, the job can kill you. And for what? For what? A new Taco Bueno? Oh, wait, that already closed. Yes, John Anderson.
The Applebee's that was supposed to come in its place.
And yes, John Anderson, I did already tell the Marines happy 250th birthday, but to you, my dear friend, happy birthday to your beloved Corps. I've never known a more faithful or loyal Marine than my buddy John Anderson. So thank you for your service, my dear lifelong friend.
But I do think things are changing in this town. I do.
You think there's an atmosphere of change?
Yeah, there
You
is.
think it's for the positive?
I do.
Now, can we attribute that to Jesus Garza?
I think part of it.
Why can't we? It sure ain't Charmel.
No, it wasn't here before that.
90% of these people don't even know who Charmel was.
But I think there's people here that want to see change. The problem is we missed a huge opportunity 20 years ago when the rest of the state was blowing and going, and Victoria's population increased by what, 0.8% or something crazy like that. Like it's almost minuscule.
Well, so
And then-
Michelle
and-
Hawkins has a great comment for that. She goes, am I the only one who's happy with the size of Victoria? If I wanted to live in a congested environment, I'd move to New Braunfels like everybody else. It could be nicer, but I don't want bigger. I don't disagree with that, and here's the old adage. Do you know the difference between a developer and a conservationist? The difference is the conservationist already has the cabin on the lake. So if you already live in Shangri-La.
And the money to donate the land.
You don't want anybody else to come. But we live in Sinton circa 1995. We live in Sinton without the steel plant. Now, I hear great things are coming. Again, it's like a Jewish honeymoon. We're sitting on the edge of the bed being told how great it's going to be. But it is interesting that
It's a huge battery
What'd you
company.
hear?
A huge battery company.
Yeah, so
coming
there's
down
things
to the
coming
port.
for the port
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming. I don't know. I was surprised because I just didn't think these things ever went broke. I was surprised that Jack in the Box closed.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Burger King on the ropes, according to Tammy Keeling. That's interesting. It's I think Lois Colcorst owns those.
I don't know if she owns the
husband is.
Victoria Burger Kings or not, but she's a
did.
business person. She'll close it down. Andy Rocker says, we live in Sinton without the butter churn. Now, don't forget, the butter churn's actually kind of more like Aransas Pass, but I'm with you. It's right there. You're right.
Melissa Hansen says, I like the size. I like the size of Victoria, too. I like the fact that I don't have to spend 30 to 40 minutes on the road to get to work every day. It's awesome. But here's the thing. To do the things the city wants to do, you have to grow the tax base.
Right. Well, so
Instead, you're putting it on the existing tax base, which hasn't increased, and that's why property values have shot up. That's why appraisals have shot up. That's why everybody's sick and tired of paying the taxes in this town, because we haven't expanded our tax base. So the same 60,000 people that live here are paying the taxes for all the infrastructure and new that had the city been somewhat proactive or just embrace the change and the growth of this state, would be spread amongst about 80,000 people by now.
So let me help you with that. Andrew Alvarez says people don't stay in Victoria, though. They go other places to do stuff, partially because there's nothing here. Some of that's tongue-in-cheek. Let me tell you, this is why no other thing in my lifetime is as integral to Victoria's future success as the success of Texas A&M Victoria. You will never have an opportunity.
Governor Abbott said the exact same thing.
Well,
the other
then
night.
he's a smart guy on some subjects. You will never have an opportunity again to embrace the plausibility of getting people here from the region. People now in Shiner are saying, well, maybe little Susie could go to A&M Victoria and come home on the weekends. And maybe little Billy can do so too, come home and help at the farm. Rural kids, local regional kids can come to Victoria, which for them may be the big city, from Edna, from Palacios. They can be drawn here. Maybe they can study engineering here. Maybe they can study agriculture here to take back to their local areas. And those people get to Victoria and they like it. And they begin to create a demand. It is true that although, who was it? Be honest. Which guy was misspoken that said we're going to have 6,000 students but never had a plan for it? Which president was it?
I think that was under Vic.
Okay, yeah. We're 6,000 students. There was no plan for that. Everybody was stunned.
Might have been before that even, actually.
Everybody was
Hudson.
stunned. 6,000. How are we going to get 6,000 here? What are we going to do? We have 2 soccer teams? Because this man right here has about a fourth of the whole population of the school playing sports. So you look at it and you go, hey, if we could actually get 3,000, 4,000, if Victoria brought in 5,000 students and somebody had to actually build a real dorm and maybe there was actually a parking garage needed instead of just built, the next thing you know, some of those kids are going to stay here and they're going to demand, they're going to pull things into Victoria that would help Victoria.
Yeah, you know what I found interesting is the number of student athletes who have moved here, came here to go to school from larger cities and decided, you know what? I like the pace of Victoria.
I do too.
And they're running small businesses or they're working for other local companies. The number of former student athletes that actually settled here surprised me because I thought they would get here, play their 4 years, and be gone. And some of the ones that have stayed, they're here, and they're
Right.
part. They're the fabric of the future of this community, and I'm proud of that. I saw a few of them over the weekend.
You do have to find
It's
it interesting that if somebody says, hey, our town is lacking, move, man, we don't need you here. Like I'm going.
How about instead of driving them out and telling them to move, how about encourage them to
make the changes?
make the changes that are needed? But here's the interesting thing. Like, well, we don't have this, we don't have that. You know,
Victoria has plenty to do.
there's lots to do. You got to find it. But I mean, I went to college in a town of 3,000 people. If there's no college, the town is closed up. Pullman, Washington. Best 8 years of my life. No, kidding.
Right?
Spent 3 years there, and it was awesome. But you know what?
0.00. Mr. Blutarski.
We
Fat, drunk,
found our
and
way.
Stupid
We
is no way to go through life. Go ahead with your serious
I don't
thought.
even know where I was going with
That's
it
why,
anymore.
because it
Yeah,
just
it's-
doesn't matter.
It did. It
You were
doesn't
talking
matter.
about Pullman and what a beautiful city it was.
But
a garden
there
spot.
are some interesting things to do here.
There's lots.
We've
to
got
do
a
here.
couple. We've got a couple of wineries in town, or just slightly out of town, that have great entertainment and food.
Because
We've
it's
got,
no fun if you can't drink
No.
and drive.
You know,
There's no reason to have a winery in town with an Uber to it.
there's an axe throwing place in town. People go out of town to throw axes in other cities, but we have one here.
In other cities, they throw axes in their living room. We're very blessed to that. You know, we don't have that
Yeah.
in Victoria.
We don't have 3 shootings on the Dallas area rapid transportation in a week.
And by the way, for those of you that say there's nothing to do in Victoria, I'll throw back to you. There's not a half a dozen of you that could keep my schedule. And you know who you are because I see you at all the events. There's not a half a dozen or more of you out there that could keep up with me, and I'm 63 years old. I go more places than UPS. So,
I'm going to dispel one myth right now. H.R. Mallory says need to get the TMAV football team and set up a great
that's
rivalry
a $5
with
million,
UT Rio
$10,
Grande.
$20 million investment.
With UT Rio Grande Valley. Here's the difference. Rio Grande Valley is a Division I school. A&M Victoria is NAIA.
Yeah,
They wouldn't play
the
us,
expense to play
but-
football is just so crazy.
I've run the numbers. You're looking at probably this. The last time I ran it was probably $10 million to start it from scratch. We're probably looking at 20, and that's without a facility to play a game.
Well, yeah, you can't play. You know, in an ideal world, well, no, you can't do it. Nobody who's going to ever donate, let's say, here's $100 million. And by the way, there's people in town that could do it and not really flinch, especially if they got together. Instead of getting together and writing a letter to say, we've got to loan money to people during COVID. If they all got together and invested in local higher education, we could have all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to build you a stadium that you then have to share with
No.
the public high schools. Yeah. Melissa Henson, I just wish Victoria was closer to the beach and a little closer to. Well, great. So you want to live in Corpus. By the way, Corpus Christi, she wants to live closer to the beach and a little closer to the international airport. Corpus Christi has both. Corpus Christi also, for those of you listening in Corpus, we're not just bemoaning Victoria because we're better than y'all are. You guys have found a way to screw up a coastal city.
Yeah.
You could have so much going on. Ocean Drive, where all your rich people live, is a dump.
Parts of it are nice.
Well, right along the water, but I mean, in the ghetto. Where would you not go after dark? Corpus. I ain't going to Corpus after dark.
What was the one? Yeah. I personally like the fact that we're not, I mean, you can get to any international airport you need to from Victoria Regional Airport. And the beauty of it is you don't have to show up 2 hours before the flight to get on and through security.
Right.
Once you're through security, you land in Houston, you're behind the security lines.
7-8 hour wait.
And if you
let's take
fly
a break
United
here.
the whole way, your bag goes right to your final destination.
Let's-
It's actually pretty convenient. And as someone who just recently booked a flight out of here,
Oh, you did.
I did.
Is it going to be during show week?
Yes, it is.
I like it when you leave Fridays around 8:30 and come back Sundays around midnight.
It was cheaper to fly out of Victoria. Make this make sense.
Yep.
Subsidized by the government.
It was cheaper to fly out of Victoria on United
We get SNAP.
than than it was to fly. Like I'm talking half the price to fly from Victoria as opposed to flying from Houston to the same final destination.
They're
So,
encouraging you to
yeah.
do that. There's a tariff out of Houston.
I'm okay with it.
Folks, the chopping block for all your meat needs. Get in there for all your protein. Little nod to the BBC there, protein. Get in there and do that. I'll tell you somebody who's bullish on Victoria in our community, and I applaud them for this, and I mean this. White Trash Services, 550-1826. 550-1826. If you live in the counties, they can do your weekly trash service. They can bring you a dumpster. They can bring you a roll-off dumpster so you can clean out that garage of your garbage. Reach out to White Trash Services. They are there to help. Nobody cares more about our community than BJ and Scott Nelson. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com. I was proud to see Tommy Taylor at the Chamber Golf Tournament on Friday. Tommy Taylor was there with a group representing Atzenhofer. Since 1926, Atzenhofer is Victoria's car dealership. Went Services, I promise you, and I will deliver, on the Wade and Carter webpage, if you're in Corpus, Went Services can come down and give you a turnkey generator. Turnkey, generator, whole home generator.
Put the pad in for you.
They
With a
can do it
slab
all.
if you want.
We're
Plumb it.
joined there. There's our state representative from House District 30, our friend, our sheriff, AJ Louderback. Good morning, sir. Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe, encouraging you to get in and get healthy. Maybe you eat better, change your macros. I've noticed that when I eat what Paravita has to offer, I don't necessarily lose weight, but I don't gain weight during the holidays. If I go in there and sneak a bite of this and a tablespoon of that, the next thing you know, I'm bloated Brent. It's not ideal.
I found a way to stop the grazing. You eat a little bit of protein before you go. Keeps you full, then you don't graze. And then stand away from those
Ladies,
tables.
make a note.
Yeah.
Hey, how about Patrick Strauss? What are you going to
Well,
say?
something to hear about. Somebody said something about golf courses, and I've always felt that this community has missed an opportunity. And I'm not going to say we could be Palm Springs,
Well, thank
or
you for
Palm
not saying
Desert.
that. Thank you for not saying that.
but we live in if you're a golfer, we live in a part of the world where you can golf
11 and a half
11 and a
months
half
a year.
months out of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get some northerners who will come down. They'll golf those other 2 weeks when nobody from around here will go golf because
I've been out there when people in Wisconsin are wearing shorts, and I'm like bundled up. I've got the puffy sweater
55 and the wind's blowing. They're like, this is just a lakefront day for us on Lake Superior. We're doing
great.
it.
The grass is brown. Ours is under ice.
Yeah. But I've always felt that was a missed opportunity here to get those, the same folks that go to Phoenix would probably like it here better because their skin doesn't dry out.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of disposable income. And they would be a winter golf member somewhere. But for some reason, we don't want to cater to the disposable income of the senior. Oh, we don't want a bunch of seniors here. Victoria become a sleepy little town. They spend money.
You know, Tammy Williams said something that I oftentimes scoff at these ideas, like, we need a water park. You know, all we do is screw it up. Says we definitely missed an opportunity to do a Christmas in the park like Cuero. We still can. We have the perfect park. I could not agree more. Can you imagine, close your eyes for a second and picture yourself coming in off Vine Street, and you get around there where the Rose Garden is, and you to the right is the road down to the boat ramp. Can you imagine if all those trees, all the way down that hill, which are down like number, whatever that is, 15 on the golf course, if all those trees were, lit, the trunks were lit, and you had on the right side in all that right of way where the running path is, you had like Santa and his sleigh and all that. There's one way in, there's one way out. You could go down there and
You know what? But I wouldn't want to take away from Cuero. Let's do something different. I like where you're going. Let's light up. Let's wrap all the trees and
It
do
would be
like
so
lit,
pretty.
lit tree and just light up the drive all through Riverside. It would be unique. It could be Christmassy, but we wouldn't necessarily take away from what Cuero's doing, because then you're going to destroy what Cuero's doing. Think about it. Everybody that goes to see the lights in Cuero from Victoria, because Cuero's not keeping that thing up with just Cuero residents.
no, they
the
charge
5,000.
money. They
Yeah.
charge a bunch of money to do
Donations,
that.
I think,
Yeah,
right?
well, it may be donations, but every one of them is sponsored. Sponsored by someone.
Why don't we have a water park, Linda Chris? I'll tell you why. Because they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, we'd mess it up. The
There
people that
was
did it
one
right,
here somewhere, wasn't there? At one point, there was a
No,
little
but
water
not like
slide here?
Splashway.
No,
Those
but
folks have
Splashway
grown.
didn't start off like
That's
that
right.
either.
That's
I
right.
remember going there with my kids when they were little, and it was great for them.
It was
but
just
it was
a
small.
hose, wasn't it?
Yeah,
A hose
more
and a
or less.
sprinkler?
And somebody put down a big roll of Saran wrap on the ground, Glad cling wrap, so you could slide on it.
John Paul says, can we point and laugh at Brent's consistently bad sports takes? A&M going 8-5, Missouri going to beat A&M. This week we will get Brent picking Texas to beat Georgia. Oh, Texas is a lot to beat Georgia. Are you kidding me? Texas beats Georgia. Hats off to the Fighting Texas Aggies. I'm going to give you guys the scene that I was at.
Good football game.
It was a very good football game. But John Paul Hull would be a liar, number one, if he watched the game. So many Aggies now are 2%ers. But I watched every down of that game, and the key to me was early in the game. It was only 7-0, I think, at the end of the first quarter. At Missouri, tough game. No, nothing but a grind in the SEC. And there was a fumble or a forward pass. Anyway, the ball ended up in the air, and like a linebacker caught it and ran, and the Aggies scored, made it 14-0. And I thought, Aggies are going to roll now. They're going to roll because the Aggies are clearly a better team than Missouri by everybody's assumption. That game, Cody, with 6:45 left in the fourth quarter. 6:45 left in the fourth quarter. The Aggies are up 31-17. I'm at a party where I'm not only the only Longhorn. I'm cheering with my 3 children. I'm cheering for the Aggies. I am not faking it. I'm hoping the Aggies win. At 31-17, everybody in that barn watching the game was puckered up
You know why?
because they were only down 2 scores.
Because they're Aggies and they're used to that.
Exactly right.
I watched that game. At no time in that game did I really think Missouri was going to come back and win it. Or
I didn't
take
either.
control.
I didn't either. But every Aggie in the room was scared to death. I did not. I thought this game's
learned,
over.
Yeah,
This
what
game's
I've
over.
learned watching this Aggies team, first halves are close. Coach Elko and his staff do a great job of making adjustments
Elko's a
at
difference
halftime,
maker.
and they take control of the games. If they've kept it close.
So-
LSU was one of those. It was only 14-0 at the half against Missouri. At Missouri, a team that was ranked at top 20 at the time or close somewhere in there, but a ranked team anyway. And they took over in the second half and win at 38-17. But at no point in that game did I ever feel watching it as objectively as I do, because I'm not a fan of A&M or Texas. I do think college football is better when both teams are good.
I agree.
And relevant. But I'm a Washington State Cougar fan. Tells you all you need to know. But what I've noticed with this team is those several games where everybody was worried they were going to lose. At no point did I feel, and this was another one on Saturday against Missouri. At no point did I ever feel that Missouri was ever in
I did not
the
either.
running to win that game. A&M right now is playing the best football maybe of anybody
I don't disagree.
in college football.
And they have a
except, say, for
wonderfully
Ohio State.
favorable schedule. They have just like last year, that's all I heard about, was how that Texas had the easiest schedule in the history of the SEC. So do the Aggies. No
Brent
doubt
Anderson
about it.
says this is the first time in forever A&M is playing to win and not to lose.
Amen. And I do give credit to Mike Elko for that. John Paul, I see what you did there. I know you had a brunch to watch. I know how that is. I know what you're saying there. I'm looking at so if Texas were to win out, if Texas were to beat Georgia, which between me and you, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't either. Texas is going to get beat. But if Texas were to win out, they would face the Aggies, in theory, in one of the first rounds of the playoffs. And if they don't win out, they'll arguably face Texas Tech, who is playing really, really good football. I will tell you that Texas Tech, to me, is more of an oh my than A&M. Texas Tech came really from nowhere. The Aggies, and this is a compliment.
$7 million in NIL money to get where they are.
This is a compliment, P. Strauss. The Aggies have simply allowed their head coach to help them get out of their own way. Like you said, they're making great adjustments at the half. They're playing really good defense. I was wrong. Marcel Reed does play better in the second half. He ran the ball very well the other day. H.R. Mallory says, see, they're just such victims. Keep the excuses coming. Going to make it so much. I don't have any excuses. I'm not getting excuses.
I don't think there's any excuses. It's decades of observation. I mean, when your last glory days were where R.C. Slocum was your head coach, and he's still much revered and great guy. I met him a couple of times. Was an awesome guy.
Yeah. A&M has the hardest strength of schedule in the nation for road games at night on turf after a rain. But yeah, that's an easy. I don't understand who that's the who. Well, wait, because are you trying to count Notre Dame because they've been exposed? Are you trying to count LSU because they suck? Who did they play? These ranked teams on the road, are they still ranked? I mean, I don't understand. No, Patrick Wilder, I think you're wrong, buddy. He says Texas has to beat Georgia or A&M. They can't afford to lose both. They can't lose either one and make the playoff. If they lose either one, they're not making the college football playoff.
They played Notre Dame. They played Notre Dame when Notre Dame was 8.
Okay, and
they played LSU when LSU was 20.
Right, they suck.
They played Missouri when Missouri's still 20.
So that's their 3 road wins. Okay, go with that. That's a tough schedule. Go with that. You exposed Missouri. I don't know why Missouri was ranked. Does anybody else? Jonathan Williams says Notre Dame is ranked 9. You know why? That's because they're Catholic. That's NBC helping rank them. Yeah, they're nowhere near a top 10 team.
I don't think so either.
They're nowhere near a top 10 team.
Yeah. And here's why Missouri gets ranked where they do, because you only have 4 conferences now. There's no Pac-12 to speak of. But they're 6-3, I guess 6-2 before that game. You know, I guess if you're a 2-loss team in the SEC, then I guess you're going to be ranked because.
And there are a lot of people, of which I used to be one, and I may still be one. HR, I'm not talking about Texas. Why does everything with you Aggies revolve around Texas? Neither is Texas. Okay, so I don't care if we're a top 10 team or not. As I've already told you.
But you're not. You're 11.
Yeah, it'll take care of itself. It'll take care of either they beat Georgia and A&M, and then at that point it's very difficult for you to say they don't deserve to be in the playoff, or they lose to one of them or both of them and they're summarily dismissed, which I'm fine with.
Notre Dame's won 7 in a row since losing to the Aggies to be 0-2 to start the season.
Go look at their schedule.
I'm looking at it right now.
Who are all the ranked people that Notre Dame
They lost to Miami.
Oh, they lost to Miami. Okay.
They lost to A&M.
Right.
Then they crushed Purdue. Purdue's terrible.
Purdue sucks.
They clown stomped Arkansas.
Who is A&M's whipping boy.
They beat Boise State. Clown stomped North Carolina State.
North Carolina State.
Beat USC.
USC, okay, I'll give them like a little bit, but that's a traditional rivalry. I'll give them a little bit of love for that.
Beat Boston College handily.
Big deal. I mean, Doug Flutie's 58 years old.
Clown stomped Navy this past weekend.
If you can't beat the academies, you don't deserve to play D1.
No. And to finish up the season, they have Pitt might be tough, 7-2, but they've got a 3-7 Syracuse team and a 3-7 Stanford team to finish out the year.
Stanford.
I don't believe. I mean, Notre Dame has been overranked.
Patrick Strauss says, I know another 2-loss SEC team that's ranked pretty high. So let me ask you this, P. Strauss.
Who's that?
Texas. So let me ask you this.
Not in the top 10, though. They're 11th, I think, right now,
I think
right?
they're 10 right now. I'll give you the honest response to that. I don't ever discount that there's a slight media nudge to the Longhorns. That doesn't bother me. That's just the way it is. But they lost to Ohio State in the opening game. So, okay, if you want to give them like the King's X for losing to Ohio State,
14-7, by the way.
I'll go with that. They lose by one score on the road at the defending national champs. Okay, if that kicks them out of the playoff, then send me home and there's no reason to talk further. They have a slip up that, by the way, was not Arch Manning's fault. They didn't play well, and they get beat by Florida. Now, there are plenty of teams in the SEC who look at losing to A&M over the last decade like we look at losing to Florida. Boy, that's a game you shouldn't have lost. What did you boneheads do? That's the way I look at that loss. Patrick Strauss says, and they struggled against some really bad teams. There is no asterisk on W's and L's for struggle. As I pointed out, just last year, the defending Georgia Bulldogs beat Kentucky 13-12. 13-12. That was on their way to the national championship.
I don't think the struggles matter like they used to matter.
Right.
I think now you're rewarded for a win.
win or loss.
Rarely do I ever see anybody who wins a game that all the critics say they should have won handily. I don't think they ever drop in the polls. I will say this, and I say it at the start of every year. In my opinion, and this year was probably the same because you had an unproven Arch Manning at quarterback. I always feel Texas is overranked at the start of the year. I always feel A&M is overranked at the start of the year. I always feel Notre Dame is overranked at the start of the year in the first preseason poll or whatever.
Disagree.
And that's just my observation over the years.
HR says, you predict the Aggies are going to lose all these road games, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri. We handle business and win, and, well, you had a weak schedule.
Well, that's the fun thing about predicting things, right?
In all fairness, did we not listen to this all year last year about Texas? Oh, they got the most favorable schedule in the history of the SEC. This is coming on the heels of when we first joined the conference. Yeah, welcome to big boy football, Texas. Y'all are going to see what it's like because the Aggies have been inept since 2012. Yeah, well, you're dogging us for going 5-7, 8-4. Wait till y'all get here.
I don't know that there's anybody that thought the Aggies would be undefeated at this point.
No, nobody. Mike Elko didn't think the Aggies were going to be undefeated at this point. But I do like what he said. Aggies, take heart. There's no sarcasm here. Accept the compliment, you victim. Here's the deal. Mike Elko said, these are not the Aggies of old. Quit waiting for something to go wrong and celebrate this team. Love these victories. Embrace what we're doing. Couldn't agree more, Mike. I couldn't agree more.
And I think
John Paul says, let's
it's
see
even
how
hard,
Texas does in SEC football.
And I think it's even harder now in this era of NIL. All you got to do is look at Vanderbilt.
Since Texas got to the SEC, JP, they've lost 2 regular season SEC games. 2. I'll let you do this. You can even take this year, go back and find any 2 years where the Aggies only lost 2 games in the SEC. Find me any 2 seasons where the Aggies have only lost 2 SEC games. We lost to Florida. We lost to Georgia. We've beat everybody else that you guys put on our schedule. That's just the way it is. 19-2 now, I think. Come on. And we lost to Georgia in the playoff. Okay, I can take that. Clayton Hill says it's going to be 3 on Thanksgiving, and you know what? I can't say it publicly. I would never say it against my alma mater. I'm not a T-shirt fan. I graduated from Texas. You may be right. You may be right. First year with Johnny, yeah, but you didn't. But the second year, you didn't validate it. You can't go 2 seasons in a row with only 2 losses total. Johnny Manziel was a freak. The league wasn't ready for him. Now He's an
And
embarrassment.
he wasn't ready for the NFL, but he was a great college quarterback.
Yep. He's an embarrassment. Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.
Have a great day.